Folks, you know Randy Marion sells vehicles the King of Price way, but did you know our service department? We service vehicles the King of Price way. We sell tires, we sell brakes, we sell batteries, we sell the maintenance. We help you keep your vehicle on the road safe, ready to drive. Whatever the season is, Randy Marion service departments have you covered. Come see us today because, folks, again, you know we sell the King of Price way and we do service the King of Price way.
King of Price, RandyMarionStatesville.com.
And now for a look at your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. Heading through the remainder of the evening, the clouds will begin to roll in. We'll have partly cloudy skies, and that overnight low is going to be pretty chilly tonight. We'll get down around 38 degrees. Tuesday's going to be another sunny day with a high temperature getting up near 65, so it shouldn't be too bad out there. This has been your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. All right. Welcome, everyone. I know you've been waiting for this moment right here, right now. This is the Scoreboard on WSIC 105.9, 100.7 FM. Video, always to Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, WSICnews.com. We're worldwide. You can find us anywhere and everywhere. And, as always, you can call into the show. Be a part of the show. Do you have something to talk about? 704-873-1400. Oh, there's a lot to get to today. Football over the weekend. We had not only NFL, but college, some drama. Maybe not really drama, but like kind of drama with Michigan. The NFL. We talked about the Panthers on Thursday. We'll continue to talk about the Panthers and what the rest of the season means to them now. But also we had high school football playoffs. We've been talking about them for quite a while here. Few teams left in the area in the playoffs. Mooresville High School was one of them. They were 11-0 going into Friday. And Statesville High School also 8-3 going into Friday's games. So let's get started with the most important thing of the weekend. Charlotte Street Hockey. What? Yeah. Charlotte Street Hockey. The most important thing this weekend. If you guys remember, I have had Josh Greco, the CEO of the Charlotte Street Hockey League. I've had him on the show a few times to talk about what they do around the community as far as playing hockey and events and fun things. Well, the rec season adult league championship games were on Sunday. Ya boy balled out. We're officially hockey players over here. Goal and assist in the championship game. Come on now. Overtime winner. Let's go. Come on. I mean, like, what more could you want? I got the video. I have the video of the overtime goal. Now, I will say, I am terrible. But I did get the assist, mostly because I tried to shoot it, completely failed, and it just hit off the backboard and went right onto someone's stick. Jeff Kennedy, shout out to you for putting it in on the backhand between the legs. I don't know how he did it, but this is how it looked. Championship game, overtime. Here is the goal. And I'm going to cut the audio because I don't want to have to get in any kind of trouble with the audio because, hockey people, they don't have the cleanest mouths in the world. But this is how it looked on Sunday morning, winning a championship. Get a little ball out to the left side there, walks it in. Look at this guy, host of the Scoreboard, off the boards, in the net, and they win a championship. It's a beautiful thing. Look at the goalie in the background waddling over to the celebration. Oh, man. Everybody throwing up their nobody threw anything. It was kind of a laid-back celebration. But everybody got in there. And, hey, that's a championship goal right there. Most important thing of the weekend. Don't ever forget it. If you're interested in playing hockey with the Charlotte Street Hockey League, well, there's a Winter Classic, almost Winter Classic, that we could talk about with Josh Greco. He will be joining me probably on Thursday this week, just to wrap up the rec league season and talk about what is going on in the future and when the next rec season is, because, hey, I'd like to see you guys out there. I know it's all the way down in Huntersville, tough, but you know what? Make the drive. It's not bad. It's a lot of fun. We have a ton of fun out there. So, champion right here, host of the Scoreboard, means nothing, but, you know, it's fun. Let's get to the real stuff here. I'm tired of wasting your time. We got high school football playoffs over the weekend. Mooresville and Statesville were in action. Those are the two local teams that we've been covering for a lot of the season here. Mooresville 11-0 going into their game against Mount Tabor. Mount Tabor was, they were not the favored team in this one, according to rankings at least. Mooresville as the 3 seed, Mount Tabor as the 19 seed. And this game ended Mooresville's season. Unfortunately, the Blue Devils suffer their first loss of the season, losing 19-14 to Mount Tabor. A very good year, and unfortunately, they were unable to continue moving on in the playoffs. But I do want to at least talk about some of the players that are going to be having their seasons and their careers in high school end at least. Let's see here. I have them laid out. Senior running back, A.J. Baker. Great year for him this year. 677 rush yards, 4 touchdowns. He is a senior, so that was his last game. He had a good season. A lot of other seniors on this football team, including one of their quarterbacks, that being Carter Elkin. Not as much time played on the year, but he is a senior, and that is the end of his high school career. He had 1 interception, 1 touchdown on the year. Congratulations to those players. And every other senior, I know I want to shout out every single one of you, but there's so many that I don't want to spend the time doing it. It's just, you know, you got to pick and choose sometimes, and that's the way it is. But Mooresville did a good season this year. They did. They had a very good year. 11 straight wins, an undefeated regular season. They beat their rivals, Lake Norman, on the last game of the year. Unfortunately, they come away with a second-round playoff loss. Moving on to the Statesville area, speaking of, the Statesville Greyhounds. They were 8-3 going into their game. Underdogs against Crest. Crest being the 1 seed, and there was no magic to be had. David did not beat Goliath this time. Crest wins that game 28-16, and Statesville has ended their season. Early in the game, it was when most of the scoring took place for Crest here in this one. They got out to a pretty good 14-10 halftime lead, and then in the second half, they just poured it on with a fourth quarter touchdown to really seal the deal. Statesville had a really good season. We don't want to go into the commercial break without shouting out some of these players because they did have a very good season. Senior quarterback, Trey Turner, 14 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 1,200 passing yards on the year. Senior running back, Micaiah Davis, 127 carries, 1,097 rush yards, and a whopping 18 touchdowns on the year. The team as a whole had 26 rushing touchdowns, and Davis had 18 of those. And also seniors on the receiving core. I'll shout out the one that has 5 touchdowns on the year, that being Davin Clark. So congratulations to all you seniors there. I know the career ended not the way you wanted it to, but you got the experience. You were able to go into the playoffs in the high school tournament, and, you know, you can't win them all. But congratulations to Statesville. And again, Statesville started off the year really bad. They were not looking good to start the year. 0-2, lost their first 2. The only loss after that came against undefeated Hickory at the end of the year. So nothing to hang their hats on. They came back and ended up having a great season. We're heading to our first break of the day here. When we get back, we're going to talk a little NFL from the action we had this weekend, as well as what the Panthers need to do for the rest of the season. So don't go anywhere. We're back right after this.
More of The Scoreboard with Joe Berg is coming up on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. Santa is coming to town. Come out to Birkdale Village from 2 to 7 p.m. this Saturday, the 18th. WSIC will be broadcasting live from the event. Activity Row, Birkdale on Ice, beer garden, dance performances, and the tree lighting parade. Dance away the end of the night with live music this Saturday. The fun begins at 2 p.m. and the tree lighting ceremony starts at 6. For more info, visit birkdalevillage.com. It is the last weekend of the season for the Davidson Farmers Market. Come out and enjoy the wonderful local vendors. Saturday from 9 until noon, the last weekend of the year for Davidson Farmers Market. For more info, visit davidsonfarmersmarket.org. Hit songs from the 1950s will have you wanting to boogie all night long. The Winter Dance Party, this Saturday night, Charles Mack Citizen Center. Doors open at 6. For more info and to purchase tickets, visit ourtownstage.com. Mike Ferris and the Fortunate Few are coming to Kane Center for the Arts this Saturday. Mike Ferris is a Dove Award-winning artist. Americana, rock, blues, and gospel. Come enjoy a fun night of great music. Mike Ferris and the Fortunate Few this Saturday. Doors open at 7 p.m. kanearts.org. Have an event you would like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
The Renaissance Festival is back Saturdays and Sundays now through November 19th. A non-stop outdoor family adventure. Huzzah! Tickets available online only at renfestinfo.com while supplies last.
And now for a look at your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. Heading through the remainder of the evening, the clouds will begin to roll in. We'll have partly cloudy skies, and that overnight low is going to be pretty chilly tonight. We'll get down around 38 degrees. Tuesday's going to be another sunny day with a high temperature getting up near 65, so it shouldn't be too bad out there. This has been your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center.
Cakes and cookies, toys and gifts.
It's the shopping event of the season, the Southern Christmas Show, November 9th through 19th at the Park Expo and Conference Center. Naughty or Nice, explore a nautical-inspired entrance filled with coastal Christmas charm. Plus, shop hundreds of booths to find one-of-a-kind gifts for everyone on your list. Buy tickets at southernchristmasshow.com. Online tickets courtesy of Craft Body Scan.
Let's go to the Southern Christmas Show.
It's The Scoreboard with your host, Sports Director Joe Berg, on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
All right. We are back. This is The Scoreboard. WSIC 105.9, 100.7 FM. Video to Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram. Well, not Instagram. We send our reels to Instagram, but you can't get the live video there, unfortunately. We are worldwide over here at The Scoreboard. 704-873-1400 is the phone number if you'd like to call in, have something you'd want to say, comment, concern, something that you know about that I should know about that I don't already know about, whatever you want it to be. It doesn't matter to me. You can call in. We'll talk. We'll have a good time. As a reminder, champion right here. Here's the play again in case you missed it the first time. Look at that, off the board, through the legs and in. This guy right here is a champion. Got it going on. You know what I'm saying? Can't ever forget it. Yeah. I'm going to be bringing that up all week, just so you know. Be ready. There was football yesterday, and a lot of it. A lot of it. It started early in the morning with, I would say a very good game between the Colts and the Patriots, but it's not 2015 right now. Unfortunately, I don't think Germany saw the best of the best. They did have the Dolphins-Chiefs game, which was pretty good, but follow that up with Patriots-Colts. Not really what you'd say is an exciting football game, as that one did not really do anything for anyone. If you watched it, you might as well haven't watched it, got the extra rest. But let's see here. One touchdown in the game. Jonathan Taylor. And I know the Colts have their backup, and I know the Patriots are a bad team, and Mac Jones is not a good player, and he threw for 170 yards and an interception, and he got benched at the end of the game for Bailey Zappi, who threw an interception himself. It's bad for the Patriots right now. It really is. When you look at the draft order, that's probably the only good thing about what's going on with the Patriots. They have the third worst record in the league when you go off strength of schedule, because there's actually 3 teams currently sitting at 2-8. Giants, New England, and Arizona Cardinals. And in front of all of them, the Carolina Panthers, 1-8. Right now they have the number 1 overall pick, which would be awesome if they held their own number 1 overall pick. They traded it away, as well as their number 1 wide receiver. And look, this would be a great time to have a number 1 pick when you already drafted your quarterback. Maybe, trade that number 1 away like the Bears did and get a lot of assets. Well, Panthers can't do that. Or, I don't know, use the number 1 overall to draft the best wide receiver coming out this year. Can't do that either. What do the Panthers do the rest of the year? Well, it's a lost season. It's been a lost season ever since before the bye week when they were 0-6. All you need to do now is, if you're a Panther fan and you're going to be watching this poor football for the rest of the season, because I promise you it is going to be poor football, you're looking at one thing and one thing only. How's Bryce Young doing? Is he getting better? Is he staying the same? Is he making better decisions? The Panthers play the Cowboys on Sunday. Yeah, they're at home, but they play the Cowboys. Cowboys just got done torturing the New York Giants for America's Game of the Week, which, I don't know if that would be my Game of the Week. There were quite a few other good ones out there. Cowboys 49 points against the Giants. Now they get to come into Carolina and play the Panthers. Wonderful. Wonderful. I don't know where everything went wrong, but I think it's been getting more and more clear as the season's gone on what went wrong. David Tepper put his hands in the pot. He added all the ingredients for the chefs. He said, here you go. Here's what he did. David Tepper went out and bought a restaurant, a really nice upscale restaurant. And then he went and he paid a whole bunch of cooks, gourmet cooks, amazing cooks, Gordon Ramsay times 10, 5 of them, right? And he gave the chefs the recipe and stood over their shoulders and said, no, you got to put more of this in. You got to put a little more of that. That's what he did. I think it's clear now. And when you look at the top 2 quarterbacks taken this year in the NFL draft, Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud, it's becoming clear who is potentially a franchise quarterback and who, needs to do some work. C.J. Stroud against the Bengals, 23 of 39 passing, not the best completion percentage in the world, 356 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. It does help that their running game had over 150 yards gained in this game. I will say that. And 2 rushing touchdowns help. But Stroud looked good. and he orchestrated a game-winning drive at the end of the year. He did make one big mistake late in the fourth. He threw an interception when they were just trying to lock up the game. That's okay. It happens. But I don't see Bryce Young doing anything great like that. Their one win, okay, he did have a good drive at the end of the game. He had one good drive, 6 minutes, brought him into field goal range. They kicked the field goal, and they won, barely. But C.J. Stroud is probably going to be, he's definitely the front runner for Rookie of the Year right now. He's got the Texans, the team who was the second worst team in the league last year, currently sitting above 500, 5-4. You could argue that Bryce Young went to a better team. You could, because the Panthers were 7-10 last year, not 2-15. Well, right now the Panthers are 1-8. And the offense looks gross. Is it coaching? It could be. Is it the players? They don't have the most talented team, the roster top to bottom, but it's not a terrible team. They're not horrible. Like I said, it comes down to David Tepper putting his hands in the pot and telling these people that he hired what he wants. Instead of saying, you guys are the football people, go draft who you think is best for us. Go run, go do what you think is. No. He said, I want this quarterback and you make it work. It's not going to work. So what's going to happen this year is Frank Reich's probably going to get fired. So that's a year of development for Bryce Young you could just toss out because I'm sure the coordinators are gone too. And then we're going to have a new head coach. Now, this is the most likely thing. I don't want another coach who has been fired and is just looking for a new gig. Get a coach who has no head coaching experience right now. Somebody maybe who's been in the league. Let's look at two guys. I want to tell you about two guys. Number one, the Houston Texans. I know, the team that we're talking about in comparison to the Panthers because of the drafting and what they have. They have the two top quarterbacks picked, whatever. It's like when Mariota and Winston were being compared. What was that, 2016? I don't even know. DeMeco Ryans is the head coach for the Texans. Former player for the Texans, great player at that. And now he's worked his way up through the coaching chain, and he's got the head coaching position. The other one I want to talk about is Antonio Pierce. He is an interim head coach, 2 games under his belt for the Raiders. Former player, never been a head coach. He's been an assistant going through the ranks. He's got the Raiders 2-0 under him, and they look like they're having fun. Panthers hire somebody who's been fired, draft somebody who doesn't fit the system, and now they're staring at a 1-8 record. With all of that in mind, wouldn't it make sense to find somebody who you want to give a shot to? Somebody who can look at what the Dolphins did with Mike McDaniel. He was just going through the ranks. He wasn't a head coach anywhere. He gets his first head coaching gig. He's a young coach. He can relate to the players. He's smart. Comes up with a scheme that is almost unstoppable because they're not good against good teams. Besides the point. Why do teams insist on hiring retreaded head coaches? What is the point in that? Yeah, they have experience, okay, but if you only do that, where are the new coaches going to come from? And the Panthers could really use something fresh. Not somebody else's garbage that they threw out. Something fresh. 704-873-1400. We're heading to commercial. I want to know, do you have an idea in mind? What should the Panthers do? Do we just fire Frank Reich now and start the search for a new head coach? We're going to commercial. When we come back, we're going to continue talking NFL because we have a game tonight, and I want to keep talking about the Panthers and get some of you involved if you want to light up that phone line. So stay tuned here on the Scoreboard. We're back after this.
Keep it right here. There's more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg on the way from the new 105.9 100.7 WS.
Hey, are you calling in for the Scoreboard?
Yeah, what up, Joe?
Hey, how's it going?
I have something to say about the Texans being worse than the Panthers.
Okay. Well, we're at break right now. It's going to be about
just
4 minutes.
Back in. I can hear you.
Yep, I'll keep you on hold.
Keep me back in.
I can't wait to hear it.
Sweet.
The evening, the clouds will begin to roll in. We'll have partly cloudy skies, and that overnight low is going to be pretty chilly tonight. We'll get down around 38 degrees. Tuesday's going to be another sunny day with a high temperature getting up near 65, so it shouldn't be too bad out there. This has been your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center.
Quality Car Care is your local Toyota specialist and a licensed NC inspection station. Plus, find a huge selection of quality pre-owned cars at QualityCarCareStatesville.com or call 704-871-2535. Fall is here, and Lil Shavers has the supplies you need. Wheat straw, pine needle, grass seed, pelletized lime, landscape edging, and railroad cross ties. Got a deck that needs staining? Lil Shavers has PPG paints and stains at prices you can afford. Fall is a great time to replace your furnace filters at Lil Shavers. Get the products you need at reasonable prices from Lil Shavers, 3301 Salisbury Road in Statesville.
Todd Stearns here. Stay on top of the local elections by listening to WSIC. Great folks like Senator Vicky Sawyer, Representative Jeff McNeely, and join me for national election coverage weekdays noon to 3 on WSIC.
Here's a Wisdom Hour nugget. Creation is from God, but Satan says evolution is correct. Our scripture says God created everything in 1 week. A day comes from the earth spinning on its axis. A month comes from a lunar cycle. A year comes from the earth going around the sun one time. The week comes from God. Where does the seventh day of the week come from? It comes from God also. And God said it's the Sabbath. Has that been counterfeited? 98% of all languages in the world, Sabbath and Saturday is the same word. And then Jesus, when he went to the cross on Good Friday. The next day was the Sabbath. He rested in the grave. And then he rose the first of the week. So from the beginning of the Bible to the end of the Bible, the Sabbath was the seventh day of the week. Do we follow Satan's counterfeit or God's original? I choose, thus saith the Lord. You've been listening to a
thought-provoking conversations and informed perspectives.
It's meant for everyday people to understand, and you don't have to stress about technical terms and stuff. They just say it like a real person.
WSIC News Talk Now.
It's about unlocking the offense. I'm Anish Shroff with this Panthers update.
It's bow time. It's not just football season. It's tailgate season. And that includes every kind of football, whether it's got goalkeepers or goalposts. The kick is good! Because it doesn't matter where or how you tailgate. When you've got crispy chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits from Bojangles, your tailgate is better than great. It's legendary. Open the Bojangles app and order your tailgate box with boldly seasoned chicken, fixins, biscuits, and legendary iced tea today. It's bow time.
In the last 3 games, the defense has given Carolina a chance to win. The D held Houston to 13. Indy scored 27, but 2 touchdowns came off pick sixes. And last Thursday, the Bears managed just 16 points. But the offense has to do its part. The Panthers have just 2 offensive touchdowns in the last 15 quarters. Head coach Frank Reich says a slight uptick offensively would go a long way.
I remain confident, and it's like I was just in the press conference saying, well, why would you be confident? Well, because I know the guys we have, and I know the coaches we have. And this isn't, we're not talking, we're not saying that we have to be the most prolific offense in the NFL, but we've lost a bunch of close games where all we have to do is play decent on offense and we win. We win multiple games. And so that's the first step. We're not saying we got to go out and light it up and have 500 yards and 50 points. We're playing good football. Our formula to win is play great defense, play good special teams, and go out there and score 20, 23, 24 points. And with the way we're playing in defense and special teams, we're going to win a lot of football games. And so that's what we have to do on offense.
Carolina returns to action Sunday when the Cowboys visit Charlotte. I'm Anish Shroff on the Carolina Panthers Radio Network. presented by Morris James.
Talk sports with Joe Berg. Call 844-STUDIO-4. It's The Scoreboard on the new 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
All right, welcome back to The Scoreboard here on WSIC 105.9, 100.7 FM. Talking Panthers right now and the really, really sad season that they've had. Phone lines are kind of lighting up. I got one caller on hold here, and actually I know who it is. Now, me and caller named Zach, we don't normally see eye to eye on the Panthers. We have a couple of differing opinions, so this could get interesting. Now listen, I don't want to get into a fight, so how different is your opinion than mine right now?
I don't think we're that far off necessarily.
Whoa.
I just don't agree that the Panthers are a fully worse team, or the Texans were a worse team last year or this year than the Panthers are. I don't agree with that.
I think that the roster, when you look at it, the Panthers roster last year was better than what the Texans were putting out there, just because we knew that the Texans were tanking intentionally. They had Lovie Smith as their head coach. Now, the Panthers had interim Steve Wilkes during the year, which people thought he was going to be there, but I still think that the roster that the Texans were putting out there was significantly worse than the Panthers last year. Davis Mills was their quarterback.
I'll raise you one. Do you think that the Panthers would have had the number one pick outright if they chose not to fire Matt Rule mid-last season?
That's a tough one because they did look better at the end of the year, but it could be attributed to the interim.
That's the same thing we're seeing with the Raiders right now. I mean, the Raiders look like world beaters all of a sudden. They're beating teams that are contended for the playoffs.
You're right, but didn't they do the exact same thing last year with, oh my goodness, what was the name of their interim?
2 years ago, Rich Bisaccia.
Rich Bisaccia. Right. They did the same thing with Bisaccia, and he didn't get the head coaching gig. I mean, I still like the idea for the Panthers of getting somebody who hasn't done it before.
I feel you on that. I want to raise you. My only second part of that is the receiver core for the Texans. What do you think the lowest drafted player on their receiver core was? What round and who is it?
Oh, man, I know that they have a lot of good ones. Number one, John Mechie, who came back from cancer. Awesome. He was a high-round draft pick. Tank Dell, pretty good player. I don't know that off the top of my head. I'm assuming you have the stat with you.
I do. It's Nico Collins, who is arguably their number one receiver.
Right.
And he was in the third round.
Yeah, you could find talent.
Who's the Panthers' lowest receiver? It's arguably their best receiver, who was an undrafted free agent.
Undrafted free agent who was on the wrong side of 30, might we add. He is He's quite
exactly. So I mean, really, what does Bryce Young have to work with here?
You're right. You're right about that. Because
Hayden Hurst, they cast him off from Cincinnati, and Dalton Schultz is a cast off from the Cowboys, and he looks like a top tight end.
Yeah, and look, we could say the exact same thing about the Texans last year that with their receivers. Brandon Cooks didn't want to play. Philip Dorsett's like whatever. They were putting trash out there trying to get the number one pick. The difference is the Panthers are actually trying, and they're still bad. They are not trying to tank for a pick because they don't have that pick. So I don't know where we go. I feel like we are on a crash course for a new head coach one way or another.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of guys out there. You were mentioning some of them. I love that Golf D down there in Houston. He can play. He's good. I mean, there's a couple out there. I'm telling you.
Put Josh McCown as the head coach. Fire Reich and give Josh McCown the interim. Give somebody who can help. But yeah, okay, Frank Reich was a quarterback in the NFL. That was like 3 decades ago. Put Josh McCown in there. See what he can do. Somebody.
I don't hate. I mean, the offense has clearly been different since Thomas Brown started. They could give that guy a shot.
They should. Yeah, they should do something because sitting here stagnant is only hurting them. Now, they can help themselves with their later draft picks by being bad, but giving the number 1 pick to the Bears after you trade away your number 1 wide receiver and your number 1 pick next year, it'll sting if they end up being the worst team in the league.
I don't think that you're wrong about that. Like I said, the only thing I had a disagreement with was whether or not the Panthers and the Texans were better last year. I just think if they would have held on to Rule, that they might have gotten the number 1 pick outright. Where you're right is that if the Panthers if they went the way that they went, if they thought they were better, there's no way they should have won those 7 games last year on purpose, which it seems like that's what they were trying to do. It doesn't really make sense. It kind of feels like you're going in the wrong direction.
Yeah, I mean, the Panthers were fighting for the playoffs in Week 15. It was like, hey, if one thing breaks our way, they're right there. They are not out of it. And this year, I don't even know. It went off the rails quick, and boy, oh boy, are they going to have to recover next year. But hey, thanks for calling in. Anything else before I let you go?
Nah, I'm good, Joe. Have a great rest of your day.
All
Great
right,
show, man. Love the show.
Thank you, and thanks for calling in, Zach. Good friend of mine. Wow, I'm kind of surprised that we saw eye to eye on a few things there because it's not often, but put somebody else in there because the way that the Panthers, and it's not like it's going to get better next week. We have the Cowboys. Cowboys are good, very good. Maybe not class of the NFC good, but they're a good football team. And the Panthers, unfortunately, they are not. Let's go take another look around the league. By the way, if you have an opinion about the Panthers, 704-873-1400. Let's try to solve this problem together. Let's help each other out because there's a lot to solve with the Panthers. I do want to talk about the rest of the NFL, but before we do that, we're going to take a hard swing to the right here. Swing is the word that I want to use because we're going to talk baseball real quick. I know owner Justin Kazepis is rolling around in his, I guess, recliner right now. I don't know. Maybe he's driving his pickup home because we got to talk baseball. Gunnar Henderson. Yeah, Gunnar. AL Rookie of the Year for the Baltimore Orioles. I know Bill the Buffer is going to be happy about that one. We're going to have these awards rolling in throughout the week. As they come in and as we're able to talk about them, we will, just because I want you guys to be in the know. It's good to be in the know. Back to the NFL. Yay! Texans beat the Bengals 30-27. The Bengals, man, oh man, are they having a weird year. Tough 1-3 start, recovered, and now they're back looking to stay above 500, which, they did, but we'll see the way the rest of the season goes. Tonight, I don't know if this is one you're going to want to turn on, to be honest with you. It's going to be tough looking. Tough watch. If the Bills are the Bills. If the Bills don't want to be the Bills, then who knows? The Broncos could do what they did to the Chiefs a couple of weeks ago. Surprise win. And the Broncos 3-5 this year. They're a little bit better than last year, I guess, but that is a broken team. Everything about that team is broken. Head coach is old. The quarterback, Russell Wilson, is not what he used to be. They are on a bad swing here. But that game is tonight starting at 8:15 on ESPN if you're interested in it. And the Sunday night game, we talked about the Raiders. The Raiders back to 500. They're winning. Interim head coach, first-time head coach. Rich Bisaccia was the interim head coach who turned their season around one year. He didn't get a head coaching gig out of it. I don't know. We're talking about things because the Panthers are making us mad. Stick around. We got one more segment to go. We're going to touch on some college football on the other side of the break. So stay with me. You're listening to the Scoreboard on WSIC 105.9, 100.7 FM. Back after this.
Keep it right here. There's more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg on the way from the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Here's your WSIC community calendar. Santa is coming to town. Come out to Birkdale Village from 2 to 7 p.m. this Saturday, the 18th. WSIC will be broadcasting live from the event. Activity Row, Birkdale on Ice, beer garden, dance performances, and the tree lighting parade. Dance away the end of the night with live music this Saturday. The fun begins at 2 p.m. and the tree lighting ceremony starts at 6. For more info, visit birkdalevillage.com. It is the last weekend of the season for the Davidson Farmers Market. Come out and enjoy the wonderful local vendors. Saturday from 9 until noon, the last weekend of the year for Davidson Farmers Market. For more info, visit davidsonfarmersmarket.org. Hit songs from the 1950s will have you wanting to boogie all night long. The Winter Dance Party this Saturday night, Charles Mack Citizen Center. Doors open at 6. For more info and to purchase tickets, visit ourtownstage.com. Mike Ferris and the Fortunate Few are coming to Kane Center for the Arts this Saturday. Mike Ferris is a Dove Award winning artist. Americana, rock, blues, and gospel. Come enjoy a fun night of great music. Mike Ferris and the Fortunate Few this Saturday. Doors open at 7 p.m. kanearts.org. Have an event you would like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
The Renaissance Festival is back Saturdays and Sundays now through November 19th. Save your dates. Don't miss the Renaissance Festival. Tickets available online only at renfestinfo.com while supplies last.
And now for a look at your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. Heading through the remainder of the evening, the clouds will begin to roll in. We'll have partly cloudy skies, and that overnight low is going to be pretty chilly tonight. We'll get down around 38 degrees. Tuesday's going to be another sunny day with a high temperature getting up near 65, so it shouldn't be too bad out there. This has been your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center.
Happening now at Randy Marion Ford in Statesville.
Randy Marion in Statesville continues to grow. We have added Mitsubishi on Folger Drive. So what does that mean? That means great deals on a new make and model in Statesville, but it also means Ford Pre-Owned is moved right on Gateway Crossing Drive beside the Ford and Lincoln new car showrooms. So come see us today, Randy Marion Ford Lincoln, pre-owned vehicles, Gateway Crossing Drive.
RandyMarionFord.com. The Scoreboard with Joe Berg continues now on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Man, this music gets my energy up. I'm going to throw the chair through a window. Let's do it. Ah! Scoreboard on WSIC 105.9 100.7 FM. Video to Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, WSICnews.com, and our phone number 704-873-1400. Topic of the day, what's up with the Panthers? What do we do? Now, I'm going to talk about college football, but if you have something, whether it's college football related or NASCAR for some reason, we're in the off season, but I don't know, maybe you want to talk NASCAR. I saw something today about NASCAR. I'm a little sidetracked, but I do want to point this out. I saw something the other day on about NASCAR. It was a fan on Twitter who tracks the NASCAR Cup Series points and converts them into a Winston Cup points system. Had NASCAR done the Winston Cup point system this year, your champion would have been William Byron. I thought that was interesting. Now I know probably a lot different because the races would play out differently, points given out, stuff like that. But if you just take the points for what they are, convert it into the Winston Cup point system, William Byron would have been your champion, which, I mean, he won the most races this year, so winning does mean something, even in the Winston Cup format. Let's go away from NASCAR before I get too mad again. Hey, Michigan football, I thought John Harbaugh got suspended. Well, he did get suspended, but I thought it would matter. Michigan taking on Penn State, and, well, it absolutely did not matter. Michigan rolling Penn State in that one, and they continue their winning ways. Final score in that one, do we even want to talk about it and really upset people? 24-15, two-possession game. It was a rout for the most part. Michigan put up 14 in the second quarter and never looked back from there. Now they got to get through 2 more games without their head coach before we get to the college football playoffs. I don't know if Michigan makes the college football playoffs if they lose to Ohio State. I don't know if it gets factored in that they don't have their head coach. I don't know if the NCAA investigation ends before the playoffs and Michigan's forced to hand over their wins and vacate their wins, which has happened before, so you can't say it's out of the question. I don't know. We're just kind of up in the air still. The Big Ten made their ruling, but the NCAA still investigating. Now, they've sent letters to Michigan saying, hey, this is what we found so far, but no concrete, like, here is what we found. Here is your punishment, Michigan. Thank you. Be on your way. And I told you on Friday that we were looking for a Friday news dump, and it did happen. It happened on a Friday. I don't know why they decided to drop news late on Friday, but 3 games, rest of the regular season. We talked about it a little bit for Harbaugh. It might not mean as much next week for their game against Maryland, but boy, oh boy. The 25th of November at home against Penn State or Ohio State, that's where it might matter. And if Michigan doesn't come out victorious in that one, I could see them not making the college football playoffs, which would stink. It really would. And I've said it for years that just because you lose a game, you shouldn't have rankings because of it. Just do. I can't wait for them to expand the playoffs and then eventually overhaul. I know we're still like probably 5 years away from this, but just do a complete overhaul of the college system. Separate it completely from everything else because it is separate than everything else. It is the main focus of schools, except for places like Duke, North Carolina, Louisville, all the basketball schools. We don't worry about them. Or even the hockey schools, UMass, Michigan hockey school too. But just separate football. It's the logical thing to do. And then have like your top 40 teams is Division I. Everybody else that was Division I or Division I AA is now Division I AA. Your bottom 5 at the end of the year in Division I and your top 5 in Division I AA get to move up and move down. So you have a relegation system, kind of like soccer in Europe. And it'll be a much more entertaining system. You have brackets for the playoffs. It makes a lot more sense. There's no more opinions going on. No more people saying, hey, let's run the numbers and see who should be ranked where. It's, hey, what's their record? Where should they be? There were some other decent games on, though, other than the one that everybody was focused on, that being Michigan against Penn State. Florida State came away with a win against Miami. Washington stayed in it. They were down at halftime, but they came back. They got the win against Utah, keeping them at the number 5 seed most likely. Oregon beat USC. USC, 4 losses on the year. And look, I think Bo Nix's draft stock might be rising for Oregon. It should be rising, just like Michael Penix Jr.'s draft stock should be rising. And I know people really like Drake May, but he's not getting very much exposure right now. It's more of like a Trey Lance / Josh Allen kind of thing where it's like, hey, is he actually good? I know he's not playing in North Dakota, but Alabama came away with a win against Kentucky. I don't think Alabama's going to be able to make the college football playoffs this year, which Man, that'll be nice for once. Texas barely beating TCU. Oh, boy. Missouri and Tennessee was a good one, 13 versus 14. But, oh, boy. Missouri coming away with that one, 36-7. And Oklahoma laid a beating on West Virginia, 59-20. They didn't have a quarter where they didn't score twice in that game. And right around here, I know this is one that everybody was focused on. North Carolina and Duke. They needed double overtime to settle it. But in the end, North Carolina won after a failed 2-point conversion by Duke. Now, I like the college football overtime. I think it needs to be, I think the NFL needs to adopt the college football overtime, but maybe change it around a little bit. Instead of getting the ball at the 25-yard line, you get the ball at the 50. You know, make it a little harder for the NFL teams, and don't do this trade 2-point conversion thing. Just go. Let the defense make a stand for once. Get a drive going, because alternating 2-point, and I'm glad it didn't come down to that. It almost feels like a shootout, you know, in soccer or in hockey, where it's like, all right, you guys went to overtime, it didn't work. You had a second overtime, we made you go for 2, that didn't work. Now just trade 2-point conversions like it's a shootout until we have a winner. Sounds cool. But, yeah. Also, Colorado lost to Arizona. Colorado, after a really hot start to their year, have really fallen off. And we knew it was going to be a few-year process here for Colorado to get the squad the way that Dion or Coach Prime wants that squad. But after the start that they had, it was kind of promising. We were like, hey, look at Colorado. One win last year, starting the year 3-0. They were ranked at one point. And now they've won 1 out of their last 7 games. Oof. Tough way to go out this year for the Buffaloes. They got Washington State and Utah left on their schedule. Who knows what happens? They're not going to do anything worth noting, so we'll worry about Colorado again next year. But as the rankings will be out tomorrow for the college football playoff rankings, not the AP rankings, you know, those are different for some reason. Georgia's one on that. But college football is like, whatever. It doesn't make sense to me. 2 systems for rankings. Get out of here. Be a real sport. I'm joking, obviously. I know this is an area where everybody loves their college football, whether it's North Carolina, Duke, NC State. We got basketball. Basketball's going on right now, college basketball, but let's be honest, nobody cares about college basketball until March Madness. Maybe you care about it leading up to March Madness to see who wins the conferences. But other than that, it's like, hey, when are we going to see the 15 seed beating a 2 seed? And last year, the tournament, I do want to, you know, while we're kind of ranting here, we had a 1 seed go down, Purdue, beat by Fairleigh Dickinson University, the place where I went to college. So let's go, woohoo! But yeah, we will cover college basketball, just maybe not to the extent that some people would like. And a reminder, as we head out today, we are in the final closing moments of the show. This guy won a hockey championship. Yes, I did. Rec League hockey, baby. That's where the best of the best go to play. As a reminder, here's how it looked. This guy, walks it up, shoots completely wide, and just poked into the net on the backhand between the legs. That's how you do it. That's how you win a championship. It's a beautiful thing. We're out of time here on the Scoreboard. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to have a lot to talk about this week, including some guests on the show. So join me again tomorrow, same time, same place. You're listening to the Scoreboard here on WSIC. Have a good one, everyone.
The new 105.9, 100.7 WSIC, Statesville, Mooresville, North Charlotte.